Stay tuned after this program for some exciting retail offers on products seen in the Dallas Cowboys cheerleaders country western workout video.
Warning: the scenes that you're about to see may be unbearable for some persons.
Previously on VCR Party Live.
Do you remember Atlas? Well, of course you remember Atlas Butler.
That's how we found the woman Cassandra Schomer from that jingle, who was in Maintenance by Any Means. Everybody was following along note.
So Mo C from Ohio
he
sent us another Atlas Butler commercial, and it's a good one.
At Atlas Butler, we get all kinds of great letters from customers.
My son was wheezing and sneezing. Our pediatrician suggested getting our ducts cleaned and even told us to call Atlas Butler to do the job. As soon as our ducts were clean, Devin stopped sneezing and coughing.
My nose isn't for yuck anymore.
A clear nose? That's just great.
All right, there's a few things to unpack here. Okay, so
there's a part I want to point out too.
So first of all, the yawn.
Yeah.
And I also wondered if it was a real yawn or a fake yawn, because at first I thought it was a fake yawn. I feel like sometimes when you're not the one talking, you're just kind of sitting there. I feel like you want to
projecting a lot onto that little boy, but yeah.
He's trying to upstage her.
Can you rewind it though? I want to find out how he's drowning in this shirt. It's like his dad's shirt. It kind of looks like he was an adult, and then he, like Alice in Wonderland, took some a piece of cake that made him shrink, and then he's just kind of in that shirt.
Well, maybe that was like her husband.
Yeah. And then he got so tuckered out from the transformation he couldn't help but yawn. My nose isn't full of yuck anymore.
That's what it is. Which I'm thinking, we're not big bless you sayers.
Yeah.
Like whenever one of us sneezes, we usually just keep quiet.
Our office mate is, and we haven't really pointed out that we don't say bless you.
Yeah, we're not bless you, but he does it to us. But I'm thinking maybe we all just say, after we sneeze, we just say, my nose isn't full of yuck anymore.
Right.
Self-blessing.
So that'll kind of stave off Jeff and our office mate. We'll just say, hey, my nose isn't full of yuck anymore. And he'll be like, oops, I don't got to say anything. Okay, good.
Atlas Butler's at your service. Call 1-800-FURNACE. VCR Party Live. VCR Party Live. At the end of the 20th century, a scientist saw a killer comet on its way. He filmed instructions for its destruction over a second-hand VHS tape, but then was hit by a Winnebago. So his assistants Nick and Joe must search every corner of his drone for a cassette that is our only home. But in the meantime, they'll play the greatest hits they find. VCR Party Live. VCR Party Live. Melinda's.
Oh,
hello,
Melinda's. Here we are. It's VCR party time. The boys are back in town. We watch VHS tapes. We have over 13,000 videos, and I am Joe, and there's Nick, and there's Steve, and there's George, and we got a fun-filled, great hour, high quality, very high quality stuff, and a very high quality guest. We have Paul Scheer on the show today.
Yeah, I've always felt a kinship with Paul Scheer. I have a lot of mutual friends from like New York, UCB world, but also we all worked at Blockbuster Video. Joe, you and I worked at one for many years, and then I read his book, Joyful Recollections of Trauma, and I'm like, we had totally different childhoods. Like, I thought we were living parallel lives, but he went through some real stuff as a kid in the book, but still has a good sense of humor.
But also a VHS lover, too, since he had his, we'll talk about it in the interview, but he had his own video store that he made of stuff he taped off a TV, and he rented it out to teachers, and so we talked to him about that kind of stuff. It's fun. Nick, I got some new tapes I want to show you. Yeah.
Okay, I got a couple.
Stimulator, what do you think it is? It's an instructional video. And
it looks like a heart thing, maybe, because it's a heart monitor.
Yeah. Why is the T capitalized though? Like, why is that get the big bold treatment?
I don't know. George, any ideas?
The T represents.
What are we?
It's still Steve.
What are
and
we?
He's muted.
And he's muted. Oh my God!
I was saying that's the George close-up, but it's not George.
Oh, I'm so embarrassed. Paul,
you know what? I don't even remember.
I don't even know what we were talking
is.
about. Yeah. Yeah.
I got a couple too. I got Cuddly Critters, Growing Up Wild. still sealed, and there's a maze on the back.
Oh, it looks really hard.
I think I'd be like, dead end. I'd be really struggling with that. And then this one I found at the office. I didn't realize we had it, but it's a Bundy Full Life. This is the, I guess, Married with Children Christmas special.
Huh.
So I don't know. That might be fun to watch for the holidays.
Maybe uncensored. Maybe they can say some swear words. They can have some nudity in it. Now.
Oh yeah, you hear the uncensored thoughts of the dog out loud.
Yeah,
that could be fun.
Yeah.
All right,
I had one more here.
Oh.
You know, it's whatever, but it's a taxidermy video. And Nick, you're vegan except for taxidermy, right? Like you're fine with taxidermy. It's just eating meat.
I
and
collect
dairy
it. Yeah, no, I'm fine with exploiting animals that way, just not food wise.
But taxidermy, you're a vegan except for taxidermy.
Right. Don't give them dignity in death. Pose the frog, lacquer it up, and pose it with a guitar and a sombrero, and I'm on board.
That's what I thought.
Let's get into a classic.
Yep.
You caught me with my pants down, but no one sells carpet or waterbeds for less.
I didn't know what to show this week, but Joe, you had a good idea. This is Total Self-Defense, the Chicago self-defense guru who did tiger moves. You know, we've shown some of his videos before. But he has an assistant that he helps out with his fighting and self-defense demonstrations. The assistant's name is Paul. Tonight's all about Paul Scheer. So, and I don't think we can properly thank Paul Scheer for coming on our show. So maybe this guy will do it for us.
Yep.
Self-defense means meeting violence with violence.
I've never seen this part.
Greatest intro.
First a warrior.
This guy's a man.
Is folly.
I'm gonna bust you all over this bar.
And show me now, here's Paul with a club in his hand. And you can get a little closer, Paul. I can't come in on Paul with this elbow, because on the way in, he's gonna drill me, he's gonna hit me. Let's say Paul is fighting me with his right foot forward. That's okay, Paul, your right foot forward. I'll just bring Paul over here. We had the Adam's apple. This would be against Paul's chest. I'll just bring Paul over a little closer. Paul is gonna stand behind me and chops into that brainstem. That's a knockout point. Thank you, Paul. That's another key target, the eye socket. Thank you very much, Paul. As you can see, there's a lot of force. Thank you, Paul. Wham, like that. Thank you, Paul. Attack the Adam's apple. Thank you, Paul. So you poke from here right into the eye. Thank you, Paul. If I miss, into there. Thank you, Paul. Coming right down on the skull. Thank you very much, Paul. Boom. Thank you, Paul. And we're squeezing hard behind the windpipe. Thank you, Paul. I follow through with the strike. Thank you, Paul. Thank you very much, Paul. Kick, like that. Thank you, Paul. Thank you very much, Paul.
First a warrior, or all else is folly.
Really likes that saying. By the way, I mean, this seems like a bar. Like if we were in Cleveland on tour or something, and there's a bar like this, we would definitely be in here.
Oh, 100%.
Especially back in your drinking days.
Oh,
I mean,
that's my favorite kind of place.
Jukebox, $4 for Lowenbrow. I mean,
I know exactly what that place smells like.
Oh
too.
yeah, wood paneling.
Yep.
All right. So thank you, Paul, in advance for
Thank you, Paul.
coming on the show. He'll be out in a minute.
Paul.
Thank you, Paul. How about some celebrity bullshit? You want to get into that? I got a good one here, Steve. All right, this celebrity bullshit comes from Mike B. He sent this one. It's a. I'm going to keep it mysterious here. It's how to be a smart healthcare consumer. Very boring video, but celebrity host. IBM was like, hey, let's go with a celeb. And it's for older Americans. And and we featured this celebrity before. Who do you think it is? It's for older Americans in the 90s.
Wilford Brimley. That's my first guess.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, yes, that's exactly who it is. So I watched it hoping that there would be some diabetes talk, because we got over 2 million views with that diabetes versus diabetes video, and
bought me a new boat. That video. That's we don't get paid for any of this.
Exactly. Yeah. So, but he comes so close at one point, but it's still a fun video. We'll still watch it. Here's the diabetes video or IBM video.
Expect to reach deeper into your pocket if you need health care. Medical inflation is back.
Seems that every time you turn on the television or radio or look in the newspaper, someone's talking about the high cost of health care and prescription drugs. Hello, I'm Wilford Brimley, and
Yep.
Oh, delayed hello. I love a delayed hello. He didn't say it right away. He could have
Videos
said, hey.
now, they're all about instant gratification right off the bat. Hello. But this one, you get a little preamble.
Exactly. And what do you think about bearded Brimley?
Oh, I like it. You mean as opposed to just the mustache?
And no glasses.
No glasses. I barely recognize
I
him.
didn't think it was. I still don't think it's him.
I don't know how I feel about a bearded Brimley.
You know, when I met him, not to name drop here, when I paid $50 to meet him at ChillerCon in Paramus, New Jersey, he had this look, but he also had a cowboy hat and overalls on.
See, a cowboy hat. I want that.
Yeah.
How do you get an old man in overalls? That sounds very exhausting for his.
I don't know. You had a handler.
For an extra $50, could you see him get put into the overalls? It was like $100. You can see him be put into.
Yeah, I asked the handler with him right there. Do you think for 50 more, could I see Wilford put on the overalls? Yes, sir. All right. Do you take PayPal?
Steve, you were going to say something? I'm sorry.
I was going to tell George to come by Sunday. I've got some old man I'm putting in overalls, so swing
you guys
by.
got your weekend plan.
Yep. It's gonna be fun.
All right, more Brimley, bearded Brimley.
Today I'm speaking as someone who shares your concerns about the rising cost of health care. And as a longtime diabetic, it's something I have to be concerned with. Do you have other coverage through...
Does that look like a waiting room full of men who spend a lot of time on the toilet?
Yeah, and one lady who's like, why am I here?
And is that overweight Hitler on the right?
Gotta let himself go.
Oh, boy.
Mr. Creosote from The Meaning of Life? I'm not sure.
We must invade the Cracker Barrel.
Employer or a spouse, and could this coverage fill in any gaps? Ask yourself how much financial protection you want. Especially for our generation, sometimes we aren't comfortable at...
Mr. Brimley, I'm doing an examination here. Could you possibly do that in the hallway?
Sure, I'll be in the toilet if you need me.
Asking our doctors questions.
Oh, is Brimley a man who spends a lot of time in the toilet?
Absolutely.
Yeah?
100%.
Not anymore.
Well, he was.
Yeah.
But it's important to ask them. You and your doctor are a team.
He always seems like
working
he's
to
mad.
improve your health.
Yeah.
Well, that's about all I have to say.
On any topic.
There it is, celebrity
I
bullshit.
think that's how he let the
That was a
crew
good
know
one.
he was done. Well, that's all I have to say. Now get the hell off my rant. And that was it.
I wonder if he dresses as Santa like around December time. That's why he grew out the beard. You know, maybe.
Oh,
he's-
back then?
Yeah,
It's
because he has a
possible.
white beard. He looks Santa-y.
Yeah, maybe for the great grandkids.
Yeah. So that's our first. Well, maybe not our first celebrity twofer. For celebrity bullshit. Have we
I
done
feel like
that?
Alan Thicke might have been in it twice, but maybe I'm
During Thickness,
just
for
imagining.
sure.
Yeah.
Was Bryce
definitely.
Beckham in more than one? I know he was in the gun safety video. I think he was in
Who
something
was?
else. Bryce Beckham, Wesley from Mr. Belvedere. I'm just going to get louder and louder. As we
I know
talk
he's been
about
certainly
Belvedere.
brought up during celebrity bullshit more than anybody else.
Well, I think
don't
he's
know if
always
been in it.
George's guest for who it'll be. But yeah.
Nick, who's that one woman? Lisa.
Lisa Gibbons?
Lisa Gibbons. I think we've had a couple Lisas. Yeah.
Probably. Yeah.
It's an elite group. It's like people who hosted Saturday Night Live.
Like the Five Timers Club. Yeah. We got
Lisa.
Brimley, we got Lisa Gibbons, maybe Bryce Beckham. All right, let's get into
club.
some flying windows. Let's do that. 2 weeks ago, when I played those Mount Fuji flying windows, which blew everyone's mind,
Never
I think
forget it.
Wayne is still trying to count them. Really should have ended the segment there, but there's plenty more. Brian just sent me this, but that was from the WOC archive, the With Original Commercials archive up in Canada. So thank you for that. Plenty more where that came from. But this might be an early example of flying windows. Brian sent this in. It's from a Saturday morning superstar cartoon movie that would play on Saturday mornings.
Saturday superstar movie.
Great theme, too.
Hey, it's Yogi Bear.
Flying Yogis.
If I only had me spinach.
It's from the 60s.
Yeah. Like an early television clip.
I didn't know that. When were flying windows invented? I thought it was like a 80s thing. 60s had flying windows?
Yep. Well, they walked so that 80s flying windows could fly, I think. So,
George, can you do an uninteresting mysteries? I know you haven't done one in like 6 years, but can you do an uninteresting mysteries about flying windows and when they were invented, who invented them?
Right. And we've looked into this, we'll look at the different types: stained glass flying windows of the Middle Ages, portals on
you
the
can
submarines.
You can interview Wayne for it too. I think she'd be a good talking head in your documentary.
Yep.
Yeah.
And
it's all very all right. Well, I'm excited. Yeah, uninteresting mysteries I think could get its own spin-off.
It was my favorite thing George has ever done. He refuses to do them now.
I just feel like we've solved everything. I don't think there are any mysteries left.
There's
in
only
life.
interesting mysteries left.
Yeah.
And you don't cover those.
Right.
Yeah.
Not part of your purview. Well, let's get Paul Scheer out here. Of course, from the How Did This Get Made podcast. I feel like there's a lot of crossover between that audience and ours. And this book, which I loved, I read it in like 2 days, Joyful Recollections of Trauma. Here's Paul Scheer.
Come on, let's see your raviolis. Show us 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 your raviolis.
It's Paul Scheer, everybody. Hey, Paul.
There we are. Hey, what's going on, guys? I am very excited to be here. Thank you so much for having me. I love that, between the three of us, we share one important detail. I think a detail that bonds us more than anyone else, probably watching, that we are all three Blockbuster employees.
Yes, we are. Yes, we are. That's the main reason you're on with us right now.
By the way, I appreciate that bond. It's like a fraternity. I was never in one, so I guess that's the closest I can get. I will tell you, one of the most embarrassing moments in my life was I got to interview Quentin Tarantino for Unspooled, and we were over at his house, and he has recreated his own video store in this house, right? It's a full video store. He bought every one of the VHS tapes. And, and I was like, oh, I worked at a video store too. And I told him it was Blockbuster. And he just was like, no, you were the enemy. You were but the truth is, for most people, those mom and pop stores really didn't exist. And were definitely more of a thing in LA than they were in suburban areas. Like there weren't there was like one kind of mom and pop video store when I first started renting videos, but that was it. I don't even think it was very good, as a matter of fact.
Yeah, well, we're from super small towns in Wisconsin, and so those were the mom and pop ones. Blockbuster wouldn't come to those cities.
Okay, got it.
We had the mom and pop ones there. Speaking of Quentin Tarantino, we've always wanted to interview him, and I wish we would have talked to you before you interviewed him, because his first gig ever was a PA on a Dolph Lundgren exercise video. Have you seen this before?
No, I've not.
Yeah, so he's in the credits as a production assistant. And we talked to the gaffer on the Dolph Lundgren exercise video, and he said he was an incredible production assistant. They needed a scene they needed them to clear a dog shit off of a beach,
right?
And he leapt into action, and he cleaned up all the dog shit. And he was
apparently he tore off his shirt and then used that to cradle the dog shit and put it in a garbage.
Wow, I mean, I've never seen a PA do that on such a low level thing. But I guess at that point, Dolph Lundgren kind of big, right? This is kind of post Rocky IV, right? So this might have been a good gig.
And Tarantino was in the video store at that time, and he was hungry, So
just be on set. I mean, I remember those first opportunities to ever be on set. Like everything is the best it will ever be. I remember when we shot Human Giant, which is the sketch show that I did with Aziz Ansari and Rob Hubel. We did that on MTV, and we were running around New York in a 16-pass van. We didn't have trailers. We didn't have anything. We were getting changed in the middle of the street, and we're like, this is the way things are done. And then once I got into, more elevated things, it's like, oh, wow, we were doing things so backwards, but you just throw yourself into whatever production. You're like, we're going to do it. We're going to make it work.
100%. Yeah. Nick and I worked on commercials. We worked on a Cost Cutters commercial right out of college, our first gig. And I remember just being fine working for $150 for a 12-hour day and just being like, this is awesome. I'm just around the cameras and it's like
nowhere to sit. Okay. So speaking of chaotic sets, I want to play a clip from a show called The Extra Help Pet Show, otherwise known as Pet Paris, out of Rockville Center, Long Island.
Oh my gosh, where my wife is from.
Oh, really? I didn't realize she's from Rockville Center.
My wife is from Rockville Center. Right.
Where are you from? Huntington?
I grew up in
nearby?
a few different spots. Yeah.
Okay.
So I kind of grew up in East Islip, Central Islip, Huntington. Yeah. I'm all over the place.
All right.
Are you familiar with this? Are you familiar with the show Pet Paris? It was like something that aired on regional TV.
Well, I mean, let's pop it in because I think it might trigger some memory. I mean, the biggest memory that I have that many people from the tri-state area, the New York, New Jersey, I think Connecticut's in the tri-state area. Remembered was there was a Channel 11. It was called Pix, and that was our syndication channel, right? That's where all the shows, movies, and a lot of syndicated shows aired. And every day when you came home from school, there was this like a kids club, with cartoons and things like that. And they would have a guy in Pix playing Space Invaders. And what you would do is if you were lucky enough to call, he would be guiding the joystick and you have to go Pix, 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 Pix. And every time he said Pix, he would shoot at the screen. And so that was like the dream.
That was TV.
It was TV. Like, Pix, 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 Pix. I bet you. Yeah, I bet you could still find it out there.
Well, this was mid-90s pet advice call-in show, and this guy still owns this pet store in Rockville Center. It's called Parrots of the World. And as
I know Parrots of the World.
Yes.
Yeah, Mark Marone.
Okay.
He's the host. Yes.
Oh my gosh. Okay, great.
He's probably working there right now. Like we could call him right now. And
he loves the animals, but it's chaos. And I included the a lot of the call-ins because we've never really played the call-ins before. We have a bunch of episodes, and the Long Island accents here are incredible. So I thought you might appreciate this.
Yes.
All right, Pet Paris.
We're back on the Extra Help Pet Show. Barney and Harry and I are here talking about hedgehogs. Actually, I'm the one that's doing the talking. Everybody else is just annoying me. Don't touch the hedgehog. You gotta touch it then. I don't care. There you go. Excuse me. Apparently, the spines don't help against monkeys either.
I have a dog. I adopted him from North Shore, and he's a weird dog. He's 2 years old already, and every time he gets nervous, he kind of like sprays some stuff from his behind.
My sister has 2 dogs, and at least once or twice a month when she lets them out in the back of her property, they come back in with their heads and necks and sometimes the side of their bodies covered with other dogs' waste.
Our family's thinking about getting a dog, and it's going to be our first dog, and we have a really small house. What dog would you recommend?
A really, really small dog.
Okay, I have another question.
Another question, sure.
I feel like they were trying to not say dog there, but they couldn't help. Yeah, they couldn't help but say dog.
I
feel like 90% of the questions are poop related. It seems like that's.
I got this dog, and he does this weird thing like twice a day. Like this stuff comes out of his butt. What is it? It's like it's a dog. Like it's.
Right.
But what I really love about the host here, who has too many animals. Like, a lot of the times on like Tonight Show or like back when I was growing up, they would bring on somebody from the San Diego Zoo, and then more and more animals would come out. And by the end of the segment, there's too many animals out. This guy has got too many animals out at
and
all
they don't
times.
get along. And they
do not get along.
No.
And by the way, I grew up with birds like the birds that we're seeing here on the screen, the white birds. They're not friendly. These birds are fighting over there. But I do like that he is constantly. I don't know if it's for protection, but is he wearing like an ascot, or a turtleneck over like VR scrubs? I don't know.
I think it's I think that is it. Well, let's look. We'll keep
really small dog.
Okay, I have another question.
Another question, sure.
How long should I wait before feeding him?
And he's fine, except
I've never seen a bird vomit. I've never ever seen that, and I owned birds, or my stepfather owned birds. I've never seen a bird. These birds are not being treated well. Oh,
yeah, I guess not. I guess
I'm glad I got to be here for your first bird vomit.
I mean, this is like, what was it? John Waters direct this?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, the king of filth.
Especially on the underneath of his shell, it's like starting to peel or flake.
We have a filter cleaning the water, but right now it's not eating.
He chewed 3 telephone wires and he chewed a TV wire.
It's a he. It's a male. He's 2 years old. Loves Scotch tape.
Okay, and I have another question.
I mean, the other thing about this too is, I've watched The Dog Whisperer, and he's giving these are dogs that are in trouble. These are people that just seem like they are unfamiliar with the way that pets act. Like, it's like nothing that they're saying is bizarre. Like, it's not like, oh, I have this issue, it's a skin issue. It's like they're chewing on things, and that they're like, why aren't they acting like children? Like, why aren't they acting like people that I can communicate with? It's so bizarre.
He's acting very frisky. Well, yeah, it's the dog.
Sometimes he's eating his own doo-doo.
What? Paul? Sorry.
Doo-doo related question. Of course.
Oh yeah, sometimes he's eating his own, and then of course there are occasional prank calls.
Okay, and I have another question. He's eating his own doo-doo.
It's called Pretty Pets iguana food.
Pretty Pets, I use that. I also use Baba Booey formula. Is that recommended? Well, that might help with another problem because the male bird, he's been pulling at it.
I love an unceremonious Baba Booey. Like, it's like you got through, you did it, and you don't know how to drop it effectively, and you kind of just shove it in there. And this is like the time, like, this is also the cheat Howard Stern calls. I grew up with Howard Stern. Like, the best pranks were when you get on CNN or something big and really make a difference. Like, this is like, of course you're gonna get through to this guy.
Of course, yeah. And Stern probably heard it, and he was like, "Nah, let's skip that one."
Yeah,
we're gonna go with that one. Yeah.
But he's been pulling at his private parts by Howard Stern.
If I sat here long enough, he would swallow as much of my finger as he could and digest it.
Last week, she's just running free. She goes out, meets the mailman. Everything's cool. Last week, she bit somebody.
Let me get this cat out of here before he eats a $60 lizard. Let me just get the cat out of the iguana cage here.
By the way, I like that it's not that... It's not that he is going to eat the lizard. It's like it seems like it's a cost issue.
He's down $60.
It's the value of the lizard's life is $60.
Yeah. Oh my God. I also love this set. We haven't talked about this set. I mean, this set is. I mean, that he didn't make this set. Like, he's got to use it. There's another public access show.
It's in the basement of Parrots of the Wild.
Oh, so, wow.
Yes, you could tour it if you ever go back there.
I should. I mean, I always go by there when we go and eat dinner. I know I walk by it all the time. But I think the thing that's interesting is, like, he got this from a high school production, right? Because it's like, like there's nothing animal centric about it. Like, this is like some kids did Alfred Hitchcock's The Rope as a stage play. Like, it's incongruous to the setting. Like, put him in a jungle, put him in a zoo. Like, it's not in a park. It seems too highfalutin for him. He's not in a high rise.
It's just a washed out city backdrop.
You might use it as a litter box. They don't have a bill that's strong enough to crack the sunflower seeds. Kitty, gold nugget. Whoops. Come on, Kitty. Kitty's nice and clean.
Oh man,
1996.
That's just the tip of the surface. I mean, there's just so much.
Well,
more.
My good friend, my old editor friend, he made compilation tapes of Stairway to Stardom, which is very much New Jersey, Long Island, classic. That has become now with the proliferation of online. That was passed around as DVDs back in the day, and those are amazing. What I think is so interesting about this is something I find whenever I work with like animal trainers. You're interviewing animal trainers, like, hey, we need a dog that can do X, Y, and Z. No problem. We'll get them to do it. Great. And I always approach it like this. It's not going to work. So how can I dumb it down the most? Like, what do I really like? It's funny in the writing of it. Like, I had a joke in one of my shows where like a dog was playing poker, and I was like, okay, it won't work. I know we can't do too much with it. So can we just get a dog to push cards into like the center of the table? Like, I'm out. Simple. Like, very like, it's like paw on table. Can you just do that? Like a record scratch. And then you get that guy on set. They always come on set and they are flustered. And then, take one, doesn't happen. Take two, it doesn't happen. Take three, it doesn't happen. And you start to be like, hey, if it's not working, can we figure out? Hey, it's gonna work. He did it yesterday. The dogs always do it perfectly when they're not there. And I've learned very early on that none of these people are animal trainers. They're just animal owners. You got a bear, will travel. It's like, yeah, we're gonna throw marshmallows at that bear, and that's about as much we're not gonna train. There's no more training. It's like, because it's always like with this element of, well, yeah, he knows how to do it, but if he gets upset, he'll just shit himself for 5 hours. Like, man, it's like, it's the worst person you could possibly ever deal with. And I feel like a pet store owner, he's trying too hard to be like, just stick with the parrots.
Yeah. Right when I got my cat, I was like, this is a trainable cat. Like, I was actually training him to shake, and I was like, oh, maybe I can make some money off this cat. And then no, it didn't work out. Believe it.
No, I had a guy on the league. They brought a snake and a snake trainer in, and I was like, and this guy's like, I was like, you can't train a snake. You're not training a snake.
It's just
and he was like, no, I trained him. And then what I realized his training was just hitting the snake with a stick to push him to different areas. And it wasn't even a big snake. It was a tiny snake. So it was like, it was so
it
dumb.
did like sit or shake or anything.
My dog can shake and sit, but right before we went on air, it diarrheaed all over this room I'm in. So I'm in a room right now that smells like dog diarrhea.
Oh,
just behind the scenes.
Dog diarrhea is a rough thing.
I want
no amount of candles.
I want to shift gears hard now from pet
dog diarrhea
and from dog diarrhea. And so you say in the book, and by the way, love the book.
Thank you so much.
Yes, you talked about being raised in a church that did the speaking in tongues thing.
Yeah.
We have this. This is the religious section of our VHS collection. Over
Whoa,
here. And there's a lot of speaking in tongues, and I thought I'd put together just a short clip of some speaking in tongues.
I love it.
Yeah.
Guy does it all. He's an artist. He paints and sells his.
He's speaking in normal right now.
Yeah, we're guy.
Yeah.
His paintings for good dollars. Now you can start by putting your hands together and saying, "Welcome to the conference, Phil Pringle." Come on.
Phil Pringle.
I always feel like they do it because they can't think of anything to say. You know, I'm editing this. He talks normal in between these parts, but I feel like they do this part when they're kind of vamping.
Well, it's so interesting because, you know, you listen to like Lady Gaga on Howard Stern, and she's like, oh, I write my songs I get the rhythm of it, and I'm just kind of improvising lyrics. I'm just going like, you know, blah, 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 blah. You know, she's just putting nonsense words in to get where the hook is and stuff like that. It's interesting because I feel like what I saw when I was a kid growing up was the power. Oh, like it was like, I'm talking to you and I am telling you about my story. And the story is actually really good, but I go, it's like I can't even form the words anymore. It's like it's exploding out of me. It's kind of like, but this guy seems way too like, this guy feels like he's speaking in a foreign language instead of being overcome with the power of the word. Like like this feels bad. Like that's Phil Pringle for you.
That's total Pringle.
I feel bad for the acoustic guitar
This is like too much like a Carol Burnett sketch where someone's trying to do French or something like that. Like I feel like I don't like his energy. I want a higher energy tongues.
Well,
that's what I was gonna say. Like Paul, our mutual friend Charlie, we were in a comedy sports together, and there was an improv game where you had to do a scene in gibberish.
Oh yeah,
and you would always be like, you know, you'd always go to the same crutch.
Right.
And that's to me what it feels like is the gibberish improv game that this guy's doing here.
Oh, absolutely. And I I know I keep on coming back to it, and it's not going to change, but it's like blah 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 blah. Like I don't get if I'm watching him, I'm like, I don't even understand like gibberish game to some level. You'd be like, bobo jabbo, right? You're like, oh, okay, he's making a choice. This guy, I'm not getting any. I'm not getting any. I'm not getting a big time. I'm not getting any. Is this happy, sad? It feels like
it might ramp up. It might ramp
up. Yeah, to flatten the people on the ground.
Did you hear that move that he hit her on the head and went "frap to
I love that.
He added his own sound effect.
Yeah,
he's like the Jackie Chan having like swooshes and
yeah.
Here's whap to K.
Look at the two people passed out on the floor.
I know. I don't blame them at all.
You ever hear that story about Steph Curry? He was, I think Mark Jackson was the coach of the Golden State Warriors and hurt his leg. And Mark Jackson's big born again Christian and brought like Steph Curry to this thing. And like Steph Curry had to stand there and get like healed by this guy who did not heal him at all. And then like Mark Jackson was like, why are you not walking right? And he's like, because it didn't work. And he's like, well, now you have to go back. You got to believe more. It's like a real fucked up thing. Like Mark Jackson bringing Steph Curry to heal his leg. I'm like, oh God.
I mean, I guess maybe the ends justified the means, though, didn't they? I
yeah.
mean,
Or maybe it was his hand or something. Yeah. It's like, it's so bizarre.
He's one of the best basketball players on earth now. So I don't know. I think
yeah.
it worked.
Maybe he did. Maybe he did. Right.
It took a while.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
But yet he has all those books.
Someone give Phil Pringle and Chris a great hand tonight. Great word.
There we go. Thank you, Phil Pringle,
for being.
Yeah. Did you ever have to speak the tongues? Did you?
I mean, it was available to me, and I guess what I would say is, it's available to anybody if you just want to go. You know, it's like it's the decision to do it, which is maniacal, right? Like, because I think we can. It's fair to say that I always understood it as you're praying, and then the power of it's the power of Christ compels you. You're praying, it gets so fast that you are like you stop forming words. It's not like you have another language, right?
Right.
Which I think on some level they're both insane, but on some level I'm more there. It's like being at a concert, like, oh yeah, I love it, I'm singing along, I don't even know what I'm singing anymore, now I just lost, I'm just like in the moment. This guy feels like as if God has another language that he is funneling in, and that to me is like, that's a choice. Like at one point it's like, yeah, that's my thing, I'm this. So yeah, I could have done it at any point, no one would have questioned it, because if I would have done it as a child, it would have been like, oh, I'm a fucking prodigy, I'm in touch with God. Right? Like little did I know it was a smart business decision. I think I probably did try it.
Did you really? But maybe just like muttered it under your.
Oh, I'm sure I didn't even mutter it. As a kid, I was like, "Fuck it, I'll try to talk in tongues." Like, it's like fake it till you make it.
Yeah. You also talked about how you had your own home video store in your house. How you taped stuff off of TV.
Yeah.
And Nick did that too. And you rented it out to like teachers and stuff.
Oh,
too.
absolutely.
Like,
yeah.
I'm
renting out Ferris Bueller's Day Off, Dragnet. Whatever I could tape off a pay-per-view, I would have it first, and so I get this, I'd have this, back in the day, there was a time where you could tape things off of pay-per-view and it would come out perfectly. And then I think there was a time when pay-per-view got like the same way that if you were trying to tape a VHS to a VHS, like then there was workarounds for it. But pay-per-view, like for the beginning of pay-per-view, you could just tape it like you were watching any television show. So that's when it was really my salad days of just, pay $9 to watch this movie and I have it forever.
What about like regular TV shows? Would you do that and zap out the commercials?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Okay. There's a whole section in the book I talk about like this idea of like just sitting in front of the TV and watching TV and knowing when that fade to black is coming. Yes. And I remember one of my first classes I took with Amy Poehler, who was at the Upright Citizens Brigade Theater, comedy theater, which I started at. She said, we all know how to edit, and editing in long form improv is like you're doing the scene and at a certain point it's got to end. So that you end by kind of crossing the scene, starting a new scene. And she's like, we all know how to edit it. We've been trained for years by watching TV because it edits to the commercial. So you just like find that moment and you edit through. And I was like, oh boy, this is the job I've been training for my entire life, because I had, every episode of the Cosby Show and like Knight Rider and stuff, I've been editing out those commercials, or even movies that came on TV. I was there.
Oh, yeah. Yes, you're right there. Okay. Same. So let me know if this, let me know if this ever happened to you. This is Pee-wee's Big Adventure. Ross from St. Louis sent this in. He had taped this off a TV when he was a kid. Tell me if this has ever happened to you when you recorded off a TV.
Change his mind. No, it won't. Simone, this is your dream. You have to follow it. I know you're right, but...
Oh, yeah.
This is a Campaign 88 special report. From New York, here is Dan Rather.
Some returns from today's presidential primaries in Wisconsin. First, on the Democratic side, our CBS News estimate is that with 81 delegates at stake today in Wisconsin, that when all is said and done, Massachusetts...
I mean, they interrupted Pee-wee's Big Adventure for a primary.
A Democratic primary. Like, come on.
In Wisconsin. Who gives a shit?
I mean, Governor Michael Dukakis will
during
have
the
a
Simone
solid
big butt scene too.
Yeah,
I mean,
we'll come back to that.
Okay.
victory in Wisconsin. We'll have more tonight on our 11:30 special, 10:30 Central Time. Dan Rather, see you then.
This Campaign 88 special report has come to you from CBS News.
Come on, Simone, let's talk about your big butt.
That was not my edit. That was 100% how it actually happened. So.
I love that. And now I think, like, that was always the problem. You were playing this game, this roulette game, but I also love that news was so on the cutting edge that, like, they were like, fuck, we got in that studio. Let's go. We're going live. We're going live. And that was like a 30-second break-in, right? Like that wasn't even like, that was like, hey, we're just going to give them the facts and go.
I thought it was going to be a presidential thing or like an election kind of a thing, but it was a primary.
But even that, it's like we just need to break in for 30 like if it wasn't like, Kennedy has been assassinated. It's like, no, it's like we're in and out. We're just gonna just pop it in. They could have done that on the at the edge of a commercial break,
Yes.
No.
And also they ruined the movie by saying there was a thunderstorm up in the corner. Too.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I wonder if that would have made your cut for your video store. Would that have or would you?
Well,
have
no, of course, okay, of course. No. I only have high quality stuff. I mean, look, like when I was really as a kid, I was making those tapes. As a teen, I was going right from the source. I was going off of VHS. I had 2 VHS machines. I saved up my money to get one of those dual deck VHS machines that broke the copyright. No messing around for me. I mean, that was it.
Oh wow, you were a pro. What happened to your tape collection? Do you still have them?
I have a majority of my VHS tapes that are original, right? So I have like a tape of just every Eddie Murphy talk show appearance. I have that.
Yep.
But all the movies I just ditched because it was sort of like I can get them, right? Yeah. It's like I don't need a copy of Superman 2, right? I can get a copy of Superman. So that's how I kind of justified it. Like I only kept the VHSs of things that I taped that I couldn't get anywhere else. So that's what I have remaining in my house in a big giant Tupperware. All those I have like the original Buffy the Vampire Slayer pilot that I bought at like a Comic-Con or a Star Trek convention that had a different actor playing Allison Hannigan's role. It's really interesting, and some Buffy bloopers on there. I actually originally had the Star Wars Christmas special on VHS. Ooh. Now it's more, that's when things were being more traded around on a tape, right? So and like fun, like little things, like I had a tape of just my favorite things that I watched. So like if it was an action scene or a comedy set or a sketch on SNL, I would always go, all right, I like that sketch. That's going on my best of tape. So I had like a best of tape. So I'd always be like adding to my best of tape, just like keeping all my favorite moments.
I have my Yo MTV Raps tape right over there. It's the same.
I love it.
I zapped out the commercials. It's just pure.
Weirdly, like the commercials and the news interruptions are the valuable part of like a lot of the TV shows and movies now. But
and you get like I do have stuff like that it pops in like that are like weird, weird things you couldn't find. Like when I did the Arsenio Paul show, which was like recreating Arsenio Hall sketches, or it's not sketches, recreating Arsenio Hall interviews. It was incredibly hard to find because so much stuff is just gone. Right. So trying to find that stuff is always like they only aired once or they have like, so I have a lot of stuff like that feel, you see the chyrons going across the bottom of the screen, like what's coming up next, or I do get like little bits of commercials and things and you see, I love that. That's my favorite
the museum.
Yeah.
Let's jump into Blockbuster. Let's talk Blockbuster.
Yeah. By the way, I sent you in the private chat the Pix. If you guys want, I know it's not queued up properly, but I would love to show it to you guys.
Yeah,
let
me rip this from Facebook. But yeah, Joe, can you rip that in the private chat, and we'll show that after this Blockbuster tape.
Yes, I will.
So
right now.
Yeah, we are all Blockbuster employees, and not to brag, I was made a manager.
Nice.
Against my will. I knew the guy who was the regional manager, and he's like, I know Nick will want to be a manager, but you take that job because you're a slacker. Like, you don't want to count tills at the end of the night. You just want to
get in and out. You want to just work the counter, be with the people, not make the schedules, right?
No, but as somebody who worked under Nick, it was great to have your manager be
right.
Nick. Oh man, that
well, I feel a little bit superior to both of you now, but I wanted to force you to watch a little bit of this training video from 1989. That I didn't have to watch this, Paul. Maybe this will ring a bell, but they tried to get cute with the premise to this training.
Moviegoers will be walking, running, or crawling to see comedian Eddie Munford's latest Beaverton Hills Cop sequel. That's one of 3 new movies we'll be reviewing for you today. Hi, I'm Jerry Driscoll of the Chicago Tribulation.
And I'm Rodney Egbert of the Chicago Fun Times. Comic Eddie Munford is back as the indomitable rogue police detective Axel Fender in Beaverton Hills Cop 4.
Boy.
Blockbuster Video of Brookhaven Village. This is
I don't even know what we're trying. I don't even know what the end goal of this
exactly.
is.
The customer service.
Yeah, the clip from the movie in some way tells you about customer service, but it's a long walk. So
my first job I ever had. Maybe I can find these, and I know I have them and donate to the VHS party. My first job I ever had was doing a Siskel and Ebert parody for kids for Scholastic Book Fair. Ooh. So it was like, hi, we're at the movies, but it was like books. It was like, our first book is Clickety Clack Moo. And it tells a story about it. Like it was coming attractions for books that would be at your Scholastic Book Fair. So I had to like cast these kids, shoot these kids doing like a Siskel and Ebert kind of a thing. And so I have a real appreciation, and I will say the Siskel and Egbert or whatever that is, Driscoll and Egbert, they're good. They're very good.
Pretty good. Yeah. Here's the clip from Beaverton, and you get to see their version of Eddie Murphy here.
Can I help you?
It's kind of their Axel F knockoff.
Yeah.
Hi, welcome to Blockbuster. Oh, hi. How you doing?
Very well.
First thing I want to just call out it. Oh, there he is. Oh, there he is. I thought our first guy was Axel Foley. Now I see.
That's the crook he's after. Yeah.
I was like, wow, really bizarre choice to make your Axel Foley white. All right, now I get what's going on.
Yeah, this is him. Yeah.
Welcome to Blockbuster. Were you looking for something in particular?
Yeah, well, you might say that. I didn't expect this place to be so big.
That's what most people say when they first come in.
Yeah.
We've got thousands of videos in over 30 categories.
No.
Would you like a Blockbuster membership? It's free.
That was their
You can
bleep,
sign you up for
not
no
mine.
time at all. Say, I was wondering, have you got a couple of my favorites? The Godfather. Well, maybe The Spy Who Came In from the Cold.
Yeah, that's a real cool choice. 'Cause it's time for you to freeze, sucker.
Would you like a blank tape today, Mr. Fender?
Not where he's going.
Oh, well, how about one of our gift certificates?
I'm confused.
Or
What
you could take a
is
preview tape home with you.
The only gift this guy's getting is 10 to 15 years in Sing Sing. See? You're looking at a preview of his coming attractions.
Oh. Well, in that case, let me check you out so you can get home and enjoy the movie, Mr. Fender.
Well, this movie needs a tune-up because it certainly missed on all cylinders.
As a worker, I don't know what I'm taking away.
Exactly. There's too much business to get the message of
That's
it.
our favorite thing with training videos is imagining sitting in a break room, starting your job first day of work, and having to watch something that's really just swinging for the fences and really trying to be funny and really trying to give you a good show instead of just giving you the bulleted points of like, this is what you need to do when you arrive. This is, you know what I mean? Like, let's have it just be hilarious.
It's also like it's so baked into, like, it's so interesting because it's flawed in a million ways. But it's like, is this about being aware of thieves? Right. And if it is, then is it telling me leave it to Axel Foley or Axel Fender to to find them? Or shouldn't I, as the customer service representative, be aware of someone? But what are they stealing? Because it's like everything about this hurts my brain.
Yeah.
Also, the Blockbuster mascot, which I've never seen.
Yeah, that was the kids mascot that I guess they were trying out in the late 80s that I think they had phased out by the time I got there. But...
I am shocked. And it's also like, I mean, here's a quick rewrite. It's just like coming attractions. It's like, now we talk to Be Kind Rewind. It's like our clip from Be Kind Rewind. This is where our famous customer service representative reminds every customer to rewind. It's like, at least make your movies like that. Like, give me like funny little vignettes of this is how you count out a till. This is how what.
Yes,
but this is like a story that
we find that so often in all these. The very first video that got us started was this McDonald's training video that attempts the story, like this its own mythology, and it's just baffling. I want to show it to you.
Frustrated, frustrated creatives. I mean, that's really what it is, right? It's like a guy or a woman going like, "Oh, I want to make." Like in their mind, I made a funny Beverly Hills Cop parody. I got to use the Blockbuster. I can put this on my reel, but it's like it's not doing either job well. Like it doesn't look like it's not a good parody, nor is it a helpful to Blockbuster. But you're right, the story is bizarre.
I want to show you two more Blockbuster training videos. This is so. I never stole them when I was at Blockbuster. I have stolen training videos from jobs before, but we have two of them here. There's one called The Difficult Customer, and there's this one too that we got from a Blockbuster. It's a Blockbuster. They had their own distribution company, I guess.
Just like Chick-fil-A years ahead of Chick-fil-A.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. Tornadoes and UFOs. But I want to show you another. This is just from our collection. And actually, those Blockbuster training videos we got from a thrift store in Alaska, in Anchorage, Alaska.
Wow.
Bishop's Attic. It's the best.
I don't know why those
best
were there,
thrift store on the planet. They have Blockbuster training videos there.
I love that.
Let me show
give
you.
me a great reason to go into to stores like that.
Do it.
Yeah. Stores,
all right. Here's another Blockbuster training video. This one's a little bit more 90s, I would say.
Got it.
Hi, I'm Kim.
Hi, I'm Dan. All of us have a part to play in making this mission happen. But when we do, all of us share in the rewards too.
Unnecessary boredom, 5-yard penalty, automatic first down.
But check these.
That's just a microcosm of the entire.
Wow. First of all, like, again, talk about mixed messages. I think they're going for an MTV vibe, but then it's actually way too tucked in, like casual Friday vibe. And now we're going to sports, but I also thought they were also alluding to like a Mission Impossible thing.
It's
and
all over the
background,
place.
which is like it's everything.
There's
but
a drum set behind
a
him.
Drum set, a sail. And the other shot, there was like more like a poster. Like, wow, everything about this is like, I don't know what they are. It's like it's the narc at your party. Like, hey man, I love to smoke cocaine, and I'll definitely do some marijuana too.
They're definitely trying to do the MTV thing. There's a lot of the Dutch angles and stuff, but they still do the corporate speak, and so they didn't avoid that. But so here they're going to have the 5 golden rules of Blockbuster, and I want you guys to guess what number 5 is. You guys were both. Nick, you're a manager. I mean, you should.
I should know this. Yeah.
And, but
I don't know if I have them in order. I'm wondering. I mean, be courteous and helpful. I feel like it's definitely one of them in the 5, right? Like, to always be to welcome people into the store, make them feel like they're at home. I think that's an important part.
I feel like that might be number 1. Here, let's take a look.
Out, they make sense. Remember, you are here for your customers.
Makes sense.
Ish.
Treat your customers like guests.
All right, so they're about the same.
You see, the guest was all capitals. That was an acronym.
But not right. Because I was gonna say the S is not capitalized. So yeah. What could that have possibly been? What starts with G? Good users, entertainment.
Probably a hand.
Yeah.
This is an insane rule for anyone who works retail. There's no reason to even make a promise. In retail, there's no promises being made. This is not a promise job. That's it. Do you have it? No. Will you have it? Maybe. No promise.
Never keep your promises would be more accurate to what you.
I mean, the big thing with Blockbuster is they didn't hold. So you couldn't hold things. So there was no promises to keep. You were not a promise keeper.
Yeah, if it was out, it was out.
Keep your promises. Treat your coworkers the way you want to be treated.
Okay, now number
you missed it.
God damn it! I want
Have
you guys
fun.
to. Yeah.
Yeah. So obvious, but yeah.
Would you guys have guessed that? You guys would have guessed that.
And have fun.
I also feel like could go back to that for one thing, just for 1 second. If you rewind it for a second, so 2 guitar picks.
Oh,
golden rules.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Couldn't we have done the like couldn't we have made this more cinema centric? Like I'm just trying to think of rules of the runway. I'm not even rules of the runway. Like it's sort of like camera test or why are we doing guitar?
Make it a clapboard.
Yeah,
like Siskel and Egbert. Like that made sense.
Yeah.
Right. Like this is about music. I mean, again, okay.
Yeah. All right. Now there's one part at the end. It's dealing with
have
problem
fun.
Customers, challenging situations. But I can't figure out what this guy says at the end. All right. Listen to this. I swear to God, he says Steel Dan when he means to say Steely Dan. Okay.
Hi, my daughter bought me this CD thinking that I like steel band music, but I don't.
It's definitely Steel
Whoa.
Did nobody catch that? Steel Dan music.
Steel
how did that make
unless they didn't want to say a copyrighted
is it like Beaverton Hills Cop? Axel Fender.
Exactly.
They use the Beaverton rule on this.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, by the way, just go I want to return this the What album.
Yeah.
Like I said, the Who,
right.
But Steel Dan is because it also sounds like
What
Steel
album
Band. It also feels like, it's like there's so many things about it that don't fly off the tongue. It's like the Rolling Rocks, the Antlers.
And I listened to it so many times that I thought maybe he said Steel Band music.
That's
so
what
I started
thought
looking
too.
up Steel Band,
maybe.
and I was like, "Was there such a thing as a steel band?"
I was thinking about like those big drums, those drums that they play, bling, yeah.
I've been thinking about that all day.
Man.
Yeah,
why does it really be so specific? Just like I don't want this. I want to return this album.
Right. You can't say an actual band. Just don't say it.
One more Blockbuster video.
Okay.
And you remember, did you get at your store, did you have to play the Jan Carl videos on a constant loop on the TVs?
We were able to pick our own movies, and then at some point we were forced to start playing the tape of like coming attractions.
Yeah, Blockbuster Entertainment Network. We had to do that.
Well, you said in the book that you shoplifted from. Stole the covers from.
I stole the cover boxes, right? So it's a difference in the sense that I never took. I guess it's nothing of value at the end of the day because it was just the paper boxes that these movies were in that no one seemed to care because they weren't rented in those paper boxes, but that's how they were used to sit on the shelves.
Yeah.
But when you had a surplus of them, no one did.
Yeah.
Because you put them in the yellow box to sell them as resale.
I stole too. I stole those Jan Carl tapes, the Entertainment Tonight tapes, because then I would use them to tape The Simpsons and my raps and
tapes are valuable. Blanks were.
Yeah.
So that was.
But
you had one, right?
On the shelf. I still have one. It's like 3 hours long, and you remember playing on a loop. And see if this rings any bells for you, Paul.
Hello and welcome to the Entertainment Tonight Blockbuster Network. I'm Jan Carl. Here's a look back at some of the biggest video rentals from just last year. Steven Seagal returned.
I mean, are you having Blockbuster flashbacks now at this point? Like this was like
I think I was
into my
before
brain.
This. When were you working there?
96, 97.
I'm there. Yeah. I'm there in 92 to 94, or maybe 93 to 95. I'm way before they've upgraded, because I was at the point when they became like, I remember it was like, when we first started working here, it was cool. Now it's like Disney-fied. Like that was our, like, it was like things got a little bit more strict, and we just had like a coming attractions tape. So this is blowing my mind.
See, you were
this was golden constantly. You'd see the same previews
for the whole month, and it would just be.
God.
The one that I always remember is this one from Truth About Cats and Dogs. This one line in there. I think is Jamie Foxx in that? I think. I
don't know.
I don't know. I always thought it was Jamie Foxx.
In the truth,
I never saw the movie. I just saw this part from the Blockbuster.
I think it was Eddie Mumford. That's,
yeah. I think and they had music by Steele Dan, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
yeah. I recall correctly.
Dogs.
20th Century Fox presents. She is all that and a bag of chips. Uma Thurman.
That's the line that I always remember.
Oh, that's amazing! I love it. I would keep this on in my house at all times. This is great.
I mean, I'll send you a copy. Courage Under Fire. They tackled all of them. Oh, this Coca-Cola commercial is just. I've had it in my head all day today. Let's see. Oh, I'll play a little bit of it.
Coca-Cola classic is always the one. Like the movies having fun, there's always
It takes me right back.
Oh yeah.
It's a form of hell to like listen to the same thing for
absolutely
over and over during a 10-hour shift.
Oh yeah, and it's like that was felt like we were being put through hell to watch the preview tape, which didn't even have that many ads in it. It was just trailers and trailers and trailers, and we had like 3 of them. We could swap them out. Like we didn't have like we didn't have the September one, the October one. So that was you know, at least and then once it got to a certain point, you could put it in a movie. Like we were basically like our manager was like, take off the movies at prime times, keep on the movies. Like what I loved was working. I don't know if I put this in the book, but I love working inventory. Because inventory was the party time. Like that's when you had to scan every tape in the store. You order in pizza, you put in movies, you fucking just have a good time at the store. That was the best.
That was the best. I also like using the shrink wrap machine.
Oh, the shrink wrap machine was the best. Yeah.
Hey, I have some quick fire questions for you about the book.
Sure.
I just finished reading it, and your celebrity encounters are incredible. The awkwardness of the you just have a knack for it. I don't know what it is, but have you ever used that Alan Alda technique when somebody asks you for an autograph? And
no, I am so Alan Alda kind of gave me the hi-hat when I went to go ask him for his autograph when I was a kid. And basically he was like, you don't know who I am, so no. And for me, what I do is something a little bit different, which is whatever you say I'm from, I agree to. So if you come up to me and you go, oh my gosh, I love you on Community, I'm gonna be like, thanks. Great, let's go. Because it doesn't make sense for me to correct anything, right? Like, oh, I love you on I Love the 80s. Never on that, but great. I know what you're getting at on some level. I know where your mind is at, right? And so I'm just like, and even like the only thing I will say no to is people like, oh, did you go to school with my sister? And I'll say no. And then they'll say, I feel like you look so familiar. And then this interaction happens, or I guess it happens a little bit less now, but when I first started, I go, oh, actually, no, I'm on TV. I do some TV stuff. People are like, no, I don't watch TV. Where do I know you from? And I'm like, from television. Like, you know me from television. Like, you know me because you see me on television. No. And then that's what, like, I'm like, that's when I will. That's the only time I will get irritated, like that you won't even conceive. You won't even conceive that it's possible that but yet you know me, but yet I'm telling you that this is a common moment for me. Like that is infuriating. It's, again, just take it and go. Like, we're not. You don't know me from that. You don't know me. I did not date your sister.
How often would you say you think about your interaction with Lou Reed?
Oh my gosh, So I almost killed Lou Reed. I was driving New York City, trying to find a parking space, and I was inching out. And as I was inching out of the of like a street, a bicyclist came in front of me, and I jammed on my brakes. I almost hit the bicyclist, only to reveal that it was Lou Reed, who slammed the top of the hood of my car and cursed me out. And the whole time he's yelling at me, I'm like, that's Lou Reed. That's, oh my God, that's Lou Reed. And it was the best day of my life, honestly.
Who was more in the wrong, you or Lou Reed? Who was,
me. I'm sure. Well, I mean, look, here's what I'll say. Bicyclists, you shouldn't be riding on the sidewalk. You're not using the cross. Like, bicyclists shouldn't be using the cross. Like, he was coming off the sidewalk, going on. Like, if you are crossing the street, technically you should be using the right of way, the same
100%
rules of the road. So again, I don't want to whatever, but yeah.
I had a quick Lou Reed interaction too, where I worked at the Letterman show, and I was warned the whole week. When you're backstage, don't talk to him, don't look him in the eye. He's a grumpy guy, he's surly and whatever. And I would get a little dressed up when I had to be like backstage at a show, and I had this just orange and blue striped tie on, not remarkable at all. And I'm conscious, like had my head down the whole time. And Lou Reed goes, "Hey man, where'd you get that tie?" And he asked me about my tie, and I had a conversation about my tie with Lou Reed. So,
I thought he was going to mock you.
No, I was fully expecting that, and I was told not to talk to him, so I was worried, like, oh, I shouldn't be talking to him. But he was a really nice guy to me, anyway. So,
well, I'll tell you this much: you worked at Letterman. So my claim to fame is for a little bit of time, I lived on 50th and 8th, so my window was parallel and diagonal from the Letterman writer's room window. So we would often, like, I would put out flags and they would put out flags, and we would kind of communicate to each other.
Oh,
via
really?
flags. Yeah, back in the day.
Okay. Oh, that's pretty great.
I loved it.
Hey, okay, so let's watch Pix Pix Pix, and we'll call it a day.
All right, great.
Yeah. All right, here we go. What is Pix Pix Pix?
So growing up, you would come home and you'd turn on channel 11 or channel 5, and this is where you'd have all your animated shows. You'd have your X-Men, Batman, whatever it was. And to do the interstitials, they didn't have a host. It wasn't like Mario Cantone doing Gasoline Alley. It was just a guy in the WPIX, that was our station, control room, playing Atari and playing Space Invaders. And you'll see. Here we go.
Okay. Hope this plays. Here we go.
Ready? Go.
Telling him when to
and we're watching this and hoping
like video art.
It's so crazy. Like, I think they'll go back to the show. I think they will, but this, like, you're watching. It's like, oh yeah, this is one of me. This is me getting a chance to, I'm living vicariously through this. The delay of the voice and everything. Like, he's watching on TV. Just to see if it goes if it goes back into a show.
Yeah, this would be playing in a room in the back of PS1 somewhere.
Yeah.
And this is how long it would go on.
And what's the goal? Oh, the goal is to hit the thing. Okay.
And so you'll see what happens if they win.
Oh, that's a tough one. Oh,
I'm invested. I'm
actually.
You see? Yeah, I'm connected to it.
I get it.
Here, I want to see what happens. I want to see how long it goes. It's again.
Okay, Steve, because you scored 8 or more, you win a $25 U.S. savings bond. How about that? Okay, now you can double that prize if you know the TV Pix magic word of the day. Do you know what it is? That's right, it is Cougar. Congratulations. We'll be sending you a $50 U.S. savings bond. Well, that's fun to have a big winner. Don't forget to send your postcards to TV Pix, P.O. Box 1100, FTR Post Office, New York, New York 10022. Then you'll be able to match your skill against the computer. We'll be back to play more TV Pix and have some more winners. But now it's time to return to the Marble Men.
Oh, Marble Man. That would have been an afternoon right there.
Yeah, right there, guys.
It's been all my life. Oh, man.
Pix.
Yeah. I love it. I love it.
Oh, thanks for turning us on to Pix.
Yeah. My pleasure. My absolute pleasure. Well, guys, this is a blast. Yeah. Thank you so much for reading my book.
Yeah, and I recommend everybody read the audiobook or listen to the audiobook too, because you have parts of the podcast in there too.
Yeah, from how to get made. So it's a blast. It's available wherever you get your books, and if you want it personalized, you just go to my website, and there's a bookstore that helps me do that, so I can do that with you. It's no extra cost. Yeah.
All right, we'll put the link in the notes. Thanks for doing this, Paul.
My pleasure, guys. Talk to you soon.
All right. Paul. So long.
Bye.
Show us your raviolis. Show us your raviolis. Show us your raviolis.
Thanks again to Paul Scheer, who brought the goods. Actually, so much so that there was a scene in there where we pitched him a movie that we thought would be good for How Did This Get Made? And he had some interesting criteria about what makes a good movie for that, and what doesn't. So
he basically shot us down. But
he did. But I thought it was interesting because, when people pitch us videos, sometimes I'm like, no, because whatever. Right. And so it was interesting to hear why this particular movie didn't work for that.
Yeah, but it makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah. And so if you're a $10 and up patron, you get bonus Paul Scheer content. Join today.
All right. What else do we want to do? Steve, you got something? You haven't done anything in a while.
I'd love to. Let me play my jock.
It's a jock sham. Boring you with a signature draw. It's a jock sham. This rap is done, now it's over to you.
So this one's a little bit, it's not really a jock sham per se, but it touches on the jock world. So this is really, I'm playing it because it's football time, and I'm the kind of guy who just really spends all Saturday and Sunday watching football, and it gets very, very depressing. But Ken Reed,
for you or your family,
everybody involved,
and you can't change. You can't change it. Like there's not. Your hands are tied, right?
Oh,
you can't do it.
There's no way. You're getting me off topic here.
Right.
But Ken Reed from TV Guidance Counselor set this one over, and I feel like this might be a more depressing place to watch football than with me over the weekend. So let me know what you think.
Pigskin Payoffs at Mahony Silver Nugget. Free entry. Come in and watch a designated game, and with every we draw a winner. Spin the wheel and win. NFL jackets, jerseys, and cash up to $500. Pigskin Payoffs at Mahony Silver Nugget.
I feel.
Go ahead.
I just feel like there's never that room is never that full. It's going to have like 3 people in it if you're at Mahoney's, and it is going to be like those TVs were terrible. Majority of it is not screens, and it's
yeah. And again, I know what that place smells like too. I know exactly what that place smells like. Also, that video, was it black and white? It was like black and white, but occasionally there was a blue. Can you put it back up, Steve?
Sure.
It was like you don't have to
Pigskin
play it.
Payoffs.
Sometimes it's like that.
Yeah.
Is it black and white? But then that person in the
It's almost like
foreground is
Schindler's
green.
List, where there's one person in red, but
yeah, you're right. That Golden Nugget commercial is exactly.
I think it's just really washed out.
Maybe,
the color's just bad
because it's been played so much.
Yeah,
it's lost. It's
I think every bar called Mahoney's looks like that too, across the country and across the world.
Well, in Mahoney's defense, it smells exactly like that when I'm watching football as it does at Mahoney's. It smells the same when I'm on my couch. So either way, you're getting the same smell.
Did you notice they had a hopper? And that was not we got a hopper to give away Rock's Winning Workout sweat stained T-shirts, but that one was huge.
Pigskin Payoffs at Mahoney Silver
Where is
Nugget.
it? I want to see this. I want to see what their hopper's like.
Didn't think we'd be watching the Silver Nugget commercial this much, but you see it right there.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that was a hopper. Yeah.
There are a lot of smaller hoppers in it that you get that small hopper out and then spin that,
right.
and then
it's a hopper eating its own hopper.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, as
Hat on
hopper
hat.
enthusiasts, it's interesting to see other hoppers, right?
Yeah, just kind of. I'd like to go talk shop with Silver Nugget sometime about their hopper and what they do to spin it, and yeah.
Steve,
Speaking of hoppers, oh yeah, Hopper Corner.
You know what? Also, I'm going to confess to you guys after watching this video a number of times. I really wanted his hair. I don't know why, but I think I'd look good with that hair.
I feel like your hair is already like that.
No, his is thicker, unfortunately for me.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, well maybe
this was colorized by Ted Turner or something. It just looks off. I think that's the problem.
Speaking of hoppers, we are going to do another raffle with everybody. It's an exciting. No. Tonight we are doing another raffle. We're not. You don't have to send anything in. It's already. I'm taking the ones that already. I'll explain it later. I'm just teasing it because it's very exciting.
All right, we're giving something away.
I'm sticking around.
Yeah.
Let's get into George's segment.
What is it? It's 250 pounds of lovable trouble named George. George, will you get out of my bed and go downstairs? It's George by George. You'll want to bring the whole family to see George.
No, he's muted.
He's muted. Oh no! What a horrible start to George.
That's what a lovable misfit will do.
I'm sorry, Paul Scheer had to see this.
So as
he's not watching. No
in the long process of cleaning out my dad's house, we're finding photos. Well, here's me in 1981 with looking adorable with my Star Wars toys. Although there is in the bottom right there is a it looks like an Adventure People. Well, there's Hoth, but below that there's an Adventure People toy that is somehow for some reason mixed in there.
Again next to Hammerhead.
Okay.
Yeah.
And are you just getting ready to eBay all these?
No, they're all gone. I wish.
Oh.
But I think this is a show that oftentimes gets energy from nostalgia, but I'm not a big fan of rose-colored glasses in general. So this is part of my new segment, George's Nostalgia Corrective. And so rather than think everything was great and Star Wars toys were just dropped from the heavens, this is a video, a sales video, an internal Kenner sales video that reminds us that perhaps they were there for the money.
What?
Yeah, it's hard to believe, but and they show pretty much the entire movie in advance in tiny clips, and they're really good at analogies that no salesperson would get.
It began with two droids, a princess, and an evil villain. I must face him alone. What it was to become was the greatest phenomenon in the history of the motion picture industry. And Kenner made it the greatest phenomenon in the history of toys. The Empire Strikes Back. With all our heroes reunited, we've learned from Han himself how to really go after what we want. From the moment the movie's out, our products will be there on these Empire Strikes Back in-store display centers, ready to rivet every eye and rocket profits into your pocket.
Even Fortune says the success story that began with Star Wars is no fairy tale. To date, Star Wars has grossed $450 million worldwide. It will be the biggest smash hit in movie history. With a laser-blasting $10 million advertising blitz that would stop an all-terrain armored transport dead in its tracks. We're off on a sales odyssey that exceeds a bounty hunter's dream. Zeroing in on your market, like Han headed for Cloud City, for the Empire, for Kenner, and for you.
This is the year of Star Wars Return of the Jedi. Our 1984 Return of the Jedi collection is pure thermal dynamite, with enough of the Force behind it to shatter every other energy shield in the marketplace. In fact, even at $2.5 billion for merchandising worldwide, the universe is asking for more. A special collection of the most popular Star Wars toys will beat the band for sheer demand. Not skipping a beat. The fireworks are just beginning. So join
We're not
a
slave for lowering prices.
Like
Empire play a Jabba's Palace.
The time of defiance is upon us as Kenner soars to victory. Long live the Kenner Alliance!
Is that canon? I don't
Kenner
remember
Alliance?
that. Yeah.
Yeah, I have a
were they
tattoo
part
of
of the? They appeared at the end in Rise of Skywalker. They had their own ship. It was like a mid-80s Cadillac that.
Yeah, as if a salesperson even needed that. I mean, didn't they just say, "Hey, we got Star Wars stuff"? And
Right.
Star Wars like, yeah,
sold
put it in there.
Yeah.
I think they fucked up the first one pretty bad. Like they didn't have for Christmas they were basically selling IOUs.
Yeah,
it was like a huge, because they couldn't manufacture. They didn't know it was going to be such a big hit.
Yeah, you'd buy a card that had a few of the figures on it,
and they've since made that illegal. You can't do that anymore.
Well, we're doing it.
Well,
I'm doing it. I have the four Found Footage Fest Boys figure set. Haven't gotten it made yet, but I am selling.
But we got the IOUs ready to go.
The IOUs.
No, that's it. We're just selling IOUs. We're not selling. They're
You
on
gotta
the figures.
You send in proofs of purchase, and you get a McKenna figure if all goes well.
Right.
Yep.
That's the what was the G.I. Joe one? Refrigerator Perry, right?
Right.
You'd send in during the Bears, height of the Bears, yeah. So, okay, what else have we got going on?
I want to. So last week I talked about Tracy Lord's video, or I played it last week, and I love her sing-songy kind of half rap, half riddle, spoken word cadence that she has for her exercise video. Let me just play a little bit of it.
Work our hips from side to side till there's no fat to hide. Keep your tummy firm and tight. If it hurts, you've gotta fight. Push it left, push it right. Dance the beat, you must fight. Coordinate your legs and arms. Learn to be and move with charm. Go! Punch it! Change! Do the same but punch the air. We're almost through, so please take care of overexertion. Set your own pace. We don't want no lawsuit case. Change!
Okay, so I asked Melendez to send in some, we call it Dark Lord Tracy, lyrics. And what I wanted were recordings. If people just get it on their phone and just freestyle, you don't have to think about it that much.
Better if you don't.
That. Yeah, exactly. So I want Melendez to do that, but Tim H, he spent some time on it and he wrote some great lyrics, and I spoke them over some footage of Dark Lord Tracy. And here's how that. These are Tim's lyrics with my voice.
Squeeze those glutes, now don't be shy. Kurt Volstead's a real great guy. Kick your legs, it's not tricky. I give this smooth move 5 Mickeys. Rejuvenate, put it on. You'll look just like Goldie Hawn. Sing a bunny song for Easter. Clench those buns and tone your keister.
Okay, so my voice isn't as good as Dark Lord Tracy's, but you get the idea there.
Pretty good.
But then while I was listening, while I was reciting that, it sounded like. What did that kind of sound like?
Listen. Cool rap.
Listen.
Ready now, casement, swing them good. They're all made of natural wood. Double hung promenade from Anderson, the finest made. Awnings too now, up and down with PermaShield, the best around. Patio doors that sachet right, close them all. Now that's tight. The PermaShield door is priced just right at $688.
Who do you think's a better rapper, Ray from Menards or Dark Lord Tracy?
I'd say Ray from Menards.
Really?
Given he had 78 takes to get it right, but
yeah, she clearly just did one for that entire video. So send in your recordings of your Dark Lord Tracy lyrics to info@foundfootagefest.com, and then I'll superimpose them with some Tracy Lord's music and videos.
Okay, that's a good segment. I like it. Hey, next week we've got state jingles coming up, and I'm excited about this one because we haven't done Missouri yet, but McKenna, our assistant, is from Missouri. She grew up there. She has a keen ear for what makes a good jingle. She's got ones she grew up with. So she's going to be on with us, curating some of jingles for contention. And at the end of it, we will name Missouri State Jingle, or we'll put it to a vote. And also next week, we're kicking off Hunktober. And it's going to be dense with hunks next week. So don't go anywhere. And
do you want to just do a week of Hunktober? Or do you want to do the whole month?
I might. Well, I mean, I think the whole month will be peppered in, but I'm coming out of the gate strong next week. So buckle up.
Can't believe October already.
I know. It comes up, right? Yeah. And the Halloween costume contest is coming up next week, too. So, yeah.
Do we do Halloween hunks? Is that a thing? Have we done that?
We don't do those. We don't do those here, George.
Okay.
No,
I found a group of hunks dancing to "Bustin' Makes Me Feel Good," the Ghostbusters song. So that's pretty close to being a Halloween hunk. Yeah.
Cool. Hey, sign up for Rewindo. It's our streaming service. It's our Netflix version of VHS. All of our shows are on it. All of our live shows, volumes 1 through 10, and other bonus shows, but also orphan films that we have from around here that we like. We curate them. This week, I just uploaded it. I uploaded Joe's Tedium All-Stars. Like, I took all the Joe's Tedium corners and I put them all back to back in one big batch. And we have a category called Party Ruiners. And so if you have a party, you can pop this on. And in the background, you can have Doris Johnson plinking away on the piano. Or, you could also have the league secretary, the bowling league secretary video. Like
right.
The background there.
The most tedious videos we've ever found back to back. How long is the compilation?
It's 20 minutes. Yeah. Okay. It's bite-sized chunks of the tedium. So,
but enough to ruin your party.
Exactly. Definitely will ruin your party. But also, like, if you have funny friends, you can watch it with funny friends. And this is like prime for riffing because there's a lot of dead air. There's a lot of space in between.
What if you don't have funny friends?
You're on your own. Maybe you're funny and you can just riff on your own. I don't know.
Yeah.
I also think it's good to find out if someone really likes you. You want to find out if your partner likes you. Sit down and watch that with them because if they can sit through 20 minutes, then
exactly.
Really
that's how you can filter out the bullshit friends. Right?
Well, what's this raffle you teased? We got our hopper there. It's not as good as the one from Mahony's, but
remember the last one that we did? It was a autographed sweat stained tank top of Rock's winning workout without weights. Well, I sent 2 of them to Czar. Czar was going to autograph the sweat stain. He signed this one, so I sent him a white Sharpie, but he said the white Sharpie didn't work, so he did it on a black Sharpie. And I sent this to the winner. I sent the other one to the winner. It says Zivio from Czar. Nick, this is ours. This is for the office.
Good.
So we're not raffling this off. But in the package, Czar also included some Czar art regs, some Zart regs, and look at this. He signed. He gave me 2. He gave us 2. We'll keep one, Nick, but I want to raffle off one of these Czar art regs. And you see. Zart regs. So it's and they look cool. They look cool hung up. You'd have original art from Czar, and I'm just going to take the rafflers that we had from the T-shirt, and they're going to get original art from Czar. It might be better than the tank top, actually.
It unquestionably is.
If you have a museum, if you have like an Art Paul piece, a Czar piece,
yeah.
What else would you have? Who are the other artists? A Don Sparrow.
Oh
maybe?
yeah.
We have a winner.
Okay, who is it?
Brendan from Montana. You are a winner of original Czar art. Zart. A Zart art reg.
Congratulations.
Yes, it's going in the mail tomorrow. So,
and
exciting.
For those who, maybe just watched the show for Paul Scheer and don't know what any of this backstory is, this is Czar. He's from an exercise video called Rock Sweating Workout Without Weights. Very homemade. We tracked him down, and he's been in contact sporadically. He's a rambling man, but he's been very nice to us. So,
another thing from Czar, he's looking for a barn to paint in. If anybody has a barn or like somewhere that he can, because he said he's coming up to New York maybe, and he's like, do you know anybody with a barn upstate that I could paint in? And I was like, I don't, but I'll put it up to the Melindas. So Melindas, if you got a barn that Czar can do art in, let us know.
That sounds like a saying, like he hasn't got a barn to paint in.
He doesn't, literally.
He doesn't. He needs one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What a show. Oh, my God.
Yeah.
Action-packed. Thanks to Paul Scheer. Go pick up his book. Very entertaining, funny read. Joyful Recollections of Trauma. If you go to his website, the link is in the description of the show. He'll sign one for you. So, and of course, listen to How Did This Get Made? Great, entertaining podcast about bad movies. What are we going to go out on tonight?
George, are you Gremlin Rocky parody?
We did that a few weeks ago, but I saw that in the script, so I just looked. I have a big folder named Jingles. I have no idea what this is, but it's Cleveland's Springer Auto World. I don't know if somebody sent this in. I don't know if I found it, but I guess this is what we're going out on.
Okay, all right. Springer's
and here's
Auto
the
World.
thing: if we had been prepared, we definitely could have done better, especially during this outro.
We'll see you down the road to Clowndom, everybody.
Amazing. Previously on, my nose isn't full of yuck anymore.
What are we?
Listen closely for cat giggles.
Okay.
Put you on top of the world. That's Pizza Auto World. We like to see you smile. You get the service you're looking for. We're gonna keep you happy mile after mile. We're gonna put you on top of the world and treat you in a special way. Come on and get the great deal you deserve. That's Spencer Auto World today. We're gonna put you on top of the world. It's Spencer Auto World today.
When we return, Dr. Sellner will complete the bunion surgery.
Yes, those are his pajamas he's wearing.
All right, I gotta go.
That's all. That's it.
Let me see that one.
Rocks are done. Gotta sleep. Bye.
That's it. That it done.
We did our best. If we'd been prepared, we could have done better.
What do you think about Bibra?
About what?
In 8.
My nose isn't for yuck anymore.
Ooh.
That's all I'm doing.
Cheerio.
Have a good day.
Sizzler.
Tinkerbell!
We'll be right back right after that. Good luck from all of us at Hagen.
And Kurt Polstead, the real great guy.
Thank you very much for being here, and God bless you very much.
Nice.
Goodbye.
Jim's coins in Hilldale.